Welcome to Canada Helpline Talks, where we dig deep into stories that often go untold. Today, let's pull back the curtain on a growing issue. Is studying in Canada a scam for international students? Canada has become a top destination for international students, attracting over 900,000 in 2023 alone. On the surface, it's a dream come true, a promise of world-class education, a multicultural society, and a fast track to permanent residency. But for many, this dream quickly turns into a disillusioning experience. Did you know international students contribute over $22 billion to the Canadian economy every year? They're not just students. They're a financial backbone for many institutions. Yet, the system often treats them as cash cows. Tuition fees for international students are staggeringly high, up to 5 times what domestic students pay. For a program where a Canadian student might pay $6,000 annually, an international student forks over $25,000 or more. Families from countries like India, China, and the Philippines sell land, drain savings, or take massive loans, trusting the promise of a brighter future. But what do they get in return? Many find themselves in private career colleges that operate like profit-making machines. These institutions have mushroomed in cities like Brampton and Surrey, often operating out of cramped, poorly equipped buildings. The quality of education in many of these colleges is far from the world-class standard students are promised. A 2022 investigation revealed that nearly half of international students in private colleges felt they were misled about the quality of their programs. Imagine paying $30,000 a year to sit in an overcrowded room with outdated materials, hardly the world-class education advertised. After graduation, the challenges multiply. Canada's job market is not as welcoming as the brochure suggests. Only about 20% of international students find jobs related to their field of study within a year of graduating. The rest end up in low-paying jobs like delivery driving, warehouse work, or cashier roles, far removed from the careers they envisioned. Many degrees from private colleges carry little weight with employers, leaving students stranded in a cycle of underemployment and debt. Even the coveted post-graduation work permit, PGWP, a major draw for international students, often leads to disappointment. Not all programs qualify for this permit, and many students only discover this after they've paid their fees. Those who do qualify face a saturated job market. Entry-level positions receive hundreds of applications, and employers often exploit the oversupply by offering lower wages and fewer benefits. The housing situation adds another layer of struggle. Cities like Brampton have seen a population explosion, largely fueled by international students. But the infrastructure hasn't kept up. Overcrowded housing is the norm, with students crammed into basements or sharing small apartments with multiple roommates. Rising rents make matters worse, forcing students into substandard living conditions. Exploitation doesn't stop there. International students frequently report cases of wage theft and unsafe working conditions in part-time jobs. A recent survey found nearly half of them had experienced some form of exploitation at work. Landlords, too, take advantage, charging exorbitant rents for poorly maintained accommodations. The system seems rigged at every level. It's not just private institutions that are at fault. The government plays a role in perpetuating this cycle. During the pandemic, Canada welcomed record numbers of international students while other countries like Australia and the UK tightened their borders. This surge wasn't driven by altruism, but by economic necessity. International students filled the revenue gap for struggling institutions and propped up local economies, but their welfare was overlooked. There's also the role of agents, those middlemen who sell the Canadian dream in countries like India and Nigeria. They paint rosy pictures of guaranteed jobs, permanent residency, and a luxurious lifestyle, often hiding critical details. These agents earn hefty commissions for every student they recruit, incentivizing them to push as many students as possible into the system, regardless of whether it's the right fit. And let's not forget the broader impact. The influx of international students strains local resources. Public transit, healthcare, and other services are stretched thin in cities experiencing rapid growth. Residents and students alike feel the pressure, but the system keeps growing, feeding off the hopes and dreams of the next wave of students. Canada's reputation as a welcoming, world-class education hub is being overshadowed by these harsh realities. If you dig deeper, you see a system that's more about profits than people. The question isn't just whether studying in Canada is a scam. It's whether the system is sustainable at all. The conversation doesn't end here. If you've been affected by these challenges, share your story. Let's expose the realities and push for a system that values human potential over economic gain. Canada needs to do better, not just for its reputation, but for the thousands of students who trust it with their futures.